Can you imagine living in a place where people survive on less than $1 per day? That place is Burundi, often regarded as the poorest and unhappiest country on earth. People in Burundi live on what someone in the US might spend in a day or what someone in Spain might use in a week. Known as the heart of Africa, Burundi is a nation without many modern comforts. Most homes lack electricity and internet access. Bicycles are a rare luxury, and women here have mastered the art of carrying just about anything on their heads. Bananas are everywhere in Burundi, even used to brew a bold beer with a surprising taste. These are just a few of the extraordinary things you'll discover in Burundi. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed by life in this truly unique part of the world. In Burundi, outside the cities, most people do not live in permanent homes. They stay year-round in thatched roof shelters or small makeshift huts. Beds are uncommon, so many sleep directly on the ground. Luckily, Burundi's tropical climate means it does not get too cold at night. How long could you survive without a phone, internet, or Wi-Fi? In Burundi, only about 8% of households have electricity. It also has the lowest internet access globally, with only 3% of its people able to connect. Few can afford mobile phones, and even then, charging them requires taking the phone to a shop for power. For those used to traveling by car, bus, high-speed train, or airplane, the idea of relying on bicycles or walking might feel unimaginable. Yet, in Burundi, walking is the primary way to get around. Only a small number of households own bicycles. In Burundi, bicycles are not just a mode of transport, they are a symbol of wealth. Owning a bicycle here is akin to owning a luxury car like a Mercedes-Benz or BMW in other countries. A man with a bicycle is seen as wealthy and is highly sought after for marriage. For many, owning a bicycle is nothing short of a dream. The most common public transport option in Burundi is the pig cage. This basic vehicle has no seats and costs about 10 cents per trip. However, many people prefer walking more than 10 kilometers rather than using it. Burundi has no elevated railways, and paved or concrete roads are rare. Most roads are dirt paths that turn to mud when it rains. Could you imagine living where walking is standard and a bicycle is considered a luxury? Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever visited a place where transportation was this challenging? In many parts of Burundi, life without electricity, running water, or internet is the norm. By 6 o'clock in the evening, all street activity comes to a stop. Supermarkets are closed, shops selling essentials like water shut down, and the streets become so dark and silent that walking through them feels like being in the middle of the countryside. Jessica, a backpacker from Germany, shared her experience. When I arrived in Burundi, I stayed at a small guest house where electricity was unavailable most of the time. At night, the darkness was overwhelming, and by 6 in the evening, the streets were completely deserted. There were no street vendors or open shops, and finding bottled water was nearly impossible. I learned to carry extra water with me because even the smallest stores closed early. Without internet, navigating the city was tough, and I often relied on offline maps or asked for directions during the day. Rachel, a teacher from the United Kingdom, had a similar story. While staying in a remote area of Burundi, there was no running water. We fetched water from a nearby well, and it wasn't always safe to drink without boiling it first. One time, the power went out for more than 2 days, making it difficult to boil water or cook food. It made me appreciate basic amenities back home. Even in Bujumbura, the internet was unreliable, and when night fell, the city seemed to vanish with no nightlife or evening activity. If you plan to travel to poorer parts of Africa, be ready for experiences like this in Burundi. Personally, when I left, I found myself missing things that felt like magical moments that only Africa could offer. Here's something surprising. Burundi might just be the Lord of delays, as time here is often treated as just an idea. But before I explain, take a moment to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. It only takes 10 seconds, and you'll be the first to catch all our new videos and thrilling stories. If you subscribe, I'll keep working to make this show even better for you. Sounds like a deal? If you ever travel to Burundi or other East African nations for an office job and follow a strict schedule, it might take a while to adjust to the local concept of time. For example, if you set a meeting with a colleague and they say, "I'm on my way," be prepared to wait for 1 to 2 hours before they actually arrive. Dining out also follows this relaxed approach to time. After placing your order at a restaurant, expect to wait at least 30 minutes before your food arrives. If the server assures you, just 5 more minutes, you can safely assume it will take 20 minutes, or even longer. In some cases, dining can test your patience even more. There are restaurants where you might wait as long as 2 hours before your meal is served. It's not uncommon for visitors to joke about this, and I've often found myself humming, "Don't believe what the Burundians say," as I waited for my food. What is life like in a country where more than 70% of the population suffers from malnutrition, and what could possibly break this devastating cycle? In Burundi, most people live on less than $1 a day. Yes, you heard that correctly. With a gross domestic product per capita of around $900 annually, Burundi ranks among the lowest in the world. For perspective, this means a Burundian survives on what someone in the United States might spend in just one day. Or compare this to the United States, where the GDP per capita is about $80,000 per year, or Spain, where it's closer to $30,000. This harsh reality means many cannot afford even basic necessities like food, healthcare, or education. Over 70% of the population faces malnutrition, and the average life expectancy barely reaches 50 years. In contrast, Americans and Europeans typically live beyond 75 years, supported by advanced healthcare systems. The challenge deepens when you consider that Burundi's economy relies heavily on agriculture, which accounts for 40% of its GDP. The country's infrastructure, roads, healthcare facilities, and schools urgently needs development. However, with limited resources and inefficient governance, meaningful progress remains elusive. To this day, Burundi depends significantly on foreign aid to meet critical needs like food and healthcare. Have you ever looked at images of African women and wondered why their hair is often so tightly curled and kept short? In reality, many girls in Burundi dream of having long, straight, or wavy hair. However, the truth is that 100% of non-mixed African individuals have hair that is tightly curled and typically grows only 1 to 2 centimeters long, staying close to the scalp. Because of this, when you see women with beautifully braided or styled hair, it's often created using extensions or wigs. Most wigs are pre-braided using nylon strands, which are more affordable and widely available. In Burundi, women working in office jobs often dedicate a significant part of their income to hairstyling and buying wigs. Sometimes this expense can account for as much as 1/4 of their monthly salary. But it's not just their hair that draws attention in Burundi. Women here walk with remarkable posture, a skill honed by carrying heavy objects on their heads, like water containers or buckets of concrete at construction sites. In Burundi's mountainous regions, people can carry loads weighing up to 70% of their body weight. To ease the pressure on their heads, they use a clever technique, placing a ring or ball-shaped piece of fabric on their heads before balancing the heavy items. First-time visitors to this region are often amazed to see women carrying 30-liter water jugs with ease across winding mountain roads. They walk steadily, glancing down and up as if the jugs weren't even there. Some can even balance these loads while walking uphill, singing or dancing joyfully. This unique ability has helped earn Burundi the nickname "Land of a Million Smiles." One French traveler on a cultural tour of Burundi observed how effortlessly these women performed such tasks. They move with such grace and precision, it's like an art form. One moment they're singing and the next they're balancing buckets of concrete as if it's second nature, she remarked. The traveler was especially impressed by the women's ability to carry items weighing up to 70% of their body weight. When it comes to marriage, the bride's family in Burundi does not expect expensive gifts or require the groom to own a house or a car. Instead, the groom gives the bride a hoe, an essential tool for farming. In their culture, the hoe symbolizes hope for the future, a promise that the couple will work hard together to ensure they have enough to eat and wear. If circumstances allow, the groom might also gift the bride's family a cow. However, in Burundi, cows are considered the most valuable asset, and very few people can afford one. This makes the hoe a more practical and affordable choice for most couples. Burundi's culture beats to the rhythm of its iconic drums, but these aren't just instruments, they're living pieces of history. Crafted from tree trunks and covered with animal skins, they've been more than tools of music for centuries. These drums symbolize tradition, power, and identity. In ancient times, they were at the heart of royal ceremonies and sacred rituals. Only men from specific families chosen by lineage were allowed to play them. It wasn't just about skill, it was about heritage, respect, and honor. What's remarkable is that these drums weren't merely musical tools. They marked key moments in the community, from celebrating the harvest to crowning kings. Their deep, resonant sound carried meaning. Each beat told a story, and each rhythm was a tribute to their roots. This is why UNESCO has recognized Burundian drumming as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Yet, time has brought challenges. Political turmoil and social struggles over the past decades have endangered this tradition. Many young people are caught between modern influences and the effort to preserve their ancestral customs. Keeping this legacy alive isn't as simple as it once was. Still, there is hope. The drumming tradition has not disappeared entirely. It thrives at cultural events and on global stages, with groups like Les Tambours du Burundi leading the charge. Their performances are mesmerizing, taking audiences back to an era when every drum beat carried deep meaning. Watching them play, you don't just hear the drums, you feel them, echoing in tune with the heartbeat of Burundi. When you think of beer, barley and hops probably come to mind. But in Burundi, things are a bit different. One of the most fascinating traditions here involves crafting beer from bananas. Yes, banana beer. This age-old practice, deeply woven into Burundian culture, showcases the resourcefulness and creativity of its people, who make the most of their natural surroundings. Bananas are abundant in Burundi. As one of the country's most widely grown crops, they're used to create a unique alcoholic drink enjoyed during celebrations, rituals, and social gatherings. The brewing process, called uruwara, begins with ripe bananas that are peeled and mashed. The process gets even more interesting. After the bananas are mashed, they're mixed with water and left to ferment. In some rural areas, grass is still added during fermentation to speed things up. Within a few days, this mixture becomes a cloudy, sweet, and slightly alcoholic beverage that's ready to drink. The result may not resemble the golden, clear beers you're used to, but it has its own distinct character. Banana beer in Burundi is more than just a drink, it's a cultural tradition. It brings people together at festivals, weddings, and other significant events. As men and women gather to share stories, laugh, and dance, the sweet flavor of banana beer adds to the vibrant atmosphere, turning these occasions into unforgettable experiences. If you ever find yourself exploring the rolling hills of Burundi, don't miss the opportunity to try this extraordinary drink. It offers more than just a taste. It's a window into the harmony between the land, the people, and their customs. You might even find yourself lifting a gourd of banana beer with the locals, toasting to life, tradition, and the beauty of this remote and remarkable country. Bananas in Burundi are more than just a staple food or the main ingredient in their unique banana beer. They're a symbol of the resilience and creativity of the Burundian people. The way bananas are transported here is an incredible sight and far from what you might expect. Imagine vast hills, rugged dirt paths, and a complete lack of railroads or reliable infrastructure. Yet somehow, farmers manage to get their harvest to market using nothing but bicycles. These aren't ordinary bicycles for casual rides or commuting. They've been turned into powerful tools, capable of carrying loads that seem impossible to balance. In Burundi, the average farmer isn't loading goods onto trucks or trains. Instead, they stack massive bunches of bananas, sometimes hundreds at once, onto their bicycles, creating towering piles of fruit. The bananas are stacked so high that it's almost a miracle they don't tumble as the farmers push or pedal along narrow, rocky paths. And this isn't for short trips. These farmers often travel for miles, climbing steep hills and crossing valleys, relying only on their strength and determination. Watching this process is like seeing an art form in motion. There's a grace to how they navigate their banana-laden bicycles, maintaining balance on paths barely suitable for walking, let alone for hauling such heavy loads. Their ability to adapt and make do with so little showcases their incredible resilience. These exhausting journeys are about more than just transportation, they're about survival. Bringing bananas to market means earning money for food, paying school fees for their children, and taking pride in their hard work. Bananas might dominate the landscape, but coffee holds a cherished spot in Burundi's heart. The lush green hills of this overlooked African nation produce some of the finest Arabica beans in the world. If you've ever enjoyed a rich, aromatic cup of coffee, there's a chance it came from the highlands of Burundi. The secret to Burundi's exceptional coffee lies in its volcanic soil and perfect climate. Warm days, cool nights, and just the right amount of rainfall. This ideal combination gives the beans their bright acidity, floral notes, and complex flavors, offering a true taste of the country's highlands in every sip. Coffee plantations stretch across Burundi's rolling hills, forming the backbone of the local economy. Most of the coffee is grown by small-scale farmers who handpick each cherry with care to ensure top quality. Despite using simple tools, these farmers have cultivated a product celebrated worldwide, making coffee one of Burundi's leading exports. For generations, Burundians have passed down the art of coffee cultivation, teaching the skills needed to produce these exceptional beans. While the country faces many struggles, its coffee industry remains a shining beacon, contributing to global coffee culture in ways that might surprise you. I've traveled to many coffee-growing regions, but Burundi stands out. The scenery, the people, and the culture surrounding coffee here feels so genuine. There's a sense of pride in every cup, and I could taste the difference. Ethan, UK. Spending an afternoon with a local family, learning how they grow and process coffee was unforgettable. The attention they give to every step explains why Burundian coffee is so prized. David, USA. It's poetic how a small, landlocked country can create something so exquisite even in the face of hardship. This small East African country, once covered by dense tropical forests, has seen dramatic changes over the years. As the population grows and the demand for farmland increases, much of its forests have been converted into savannas and agricultural fields. In the more remote, higher-altitude areas, small patches of forest still survive, though they continue to shrink each year. This puts significant pressure on the land as families strive to grow enough food to sustain themselves. Unfortunately, this expansion of farmland has had a notable impact on Burundi's wildlife. As forests are replaced by crops, the natural habitats of many animal species are disappearing. The once thriving forests that provided shelter and resources for diverse wildlife are giving way to open landscapes, leaving animals with fewer places to live. As a result, some species are moving closer to human settlements in search of food. In a country where food security is a daily struggle for many, some families turn to the remaining forests and savannas for survival. Farming alone often isn't enough, so people rely on nature to supplement their diets. While this is understandable under challenging circumstances, the growing dependence on these resources places added strain on local wildlife. This has led to declines in certain species, threatening the biodiversity that has been an essential part of Burundi's ecosystem for generations. Now that we know where Burundi is and how small its territory may be, let's explore one of its most breathtaking natural wonders, Lake Tanganyika. But this isn't just any lake. It's the second largest freshwater lake in the world by volume and the second deepest, surpassed only by Lake Baikal in Russia. Imagine that for a moment, an enormous body of water stretching across 4 countries, Burundi, Tanzania, Zambia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, covering an area of about 12,700 square miles. That's larger than Burundi itself. With depths reaching nearly 15,500 feet, it feels like looking into an endless abyss. What sets Lake Tanganyika apart, beyond its immense size? It's one of the largest freshwater reserves on the planet, but it's also home to a world of unique life. The lake contains over 250 species of fish found nowhere else on Earth. Picture this, an underwater realm filled with vibrant, exotic creatures swimming through the clear depths of Tanganyika. For aquarium enthusiasts and scientists, this lake is a treasure trove, brimming with dazzling colors and fascinating behaviors. Yet, Lake Tanganyika isn't just about its fish. There's something more profound here, something that binds people to this remarkable natural wonder in a way that words can barely capture. As we delve deeper into Burundi, we uncover a fascinating claim that might surprise even the most seasoned travelers: the potential birthplace of the Nile River. Yes, the Nile, the world's longest river, winding through Egypt's iconic landscapes and emptying into the Mediterranean. But where does this legendary river truly begin? While many agree that Lake Victoria in Uganda is the source of the White Nile, Burundians have a different perspective. They believe the Nile starts in southern Burundi, at the base of Mount Kiki. From a humble spring, the Rubira River flows, joining the Kagera River and eventually feeding into Lake Victoria. If this theory is correct, Burundi might be home to the true source of the Nile, a point of immense pride for its people. For adventurous travelers, this isn't just an intriguing fact, it's an opportunity to visit one of the world's most remarkable locations. Nestled in southern Burundi's untouched beauty is Sirs d'Huile, a site marked by a simple stone pyramid that commemorates what Burundians believe to be the true origin of the Nile. It's a destination that few tourists visit, but those who make the journey are rewarded with a sense of wonder and discovery. What makes this experience even more special is not just the destination, but the journey itself. Burundi's pristine landscapes stand in stark contrast to the usual tourist spots. As you travel through scenic, off-the-beaten-path routes, you're immersed in local traditions and cultures rarely encountered by outsiders. The people you meet are warm and eager to share their stories, along with their deep pride in their connection to the Nile's storied history. You may not have heard much about it, but Gitega holds a special place in Burundi's history and future. Interestingly, the country now operates with two capitals, Gitega as the political center and Bujumbura as the economic hub. But why make this change? Gitega wasn't chosen randomly. During the colonial period under both German and Belgian rule, Gitega was already recognized as a strategic location due to its central position in the heart of the country. Sitting right in the middle of Burundi, it became the political capital in 2018 under President Pierre Nkurunziza. This decision was part of a larger plan to decentralize power and encourage growth beyond Bujumbura, which had traditionally been the center for both politics and economics. As with any major change, opinions on this shift vary. One point of debate is the presidential palace in Bujumbura, which was built with significant international investment just a few years earlier. While Bujumbura remains the face of Burundi's economy, Gitega offers something entirely different. For travelers, it's an opportunity to explore a city off the beaten path, one rich in culture, history, and tradition. Gitega provides a quieter, more authentic experience compared to the fast-paced environment of other capitals, allowing visitors to deeply connect with local customs and the people. Gitega is also the home of Burundi's royal drums and traditional dances, key elements of the nation's cultural identity. These ceremonies are more than performances. They're a celebration of heritage, community, and history, marking significant moments in the country's story. This part of Burundi may not be flashy, but it's genuine and unfiltered. If you're the kind of traveler who enjoys uncovering destinations overlooked by most tourists, Gitega is a hidden treasure waiting for you to discover. And since we've explored one of the capitals, it's only fair to talk about the other, right? Our next stop is Bujumbura. Although it's no longer the political capital, Bujumbura remains Burundi's economic center. Nestled along the shores of Lake Tanganyika, it's a dynamic city full of energy and contrasts, blending the hustle of urban life with the charm of rural simplicity. The streets buzz with activity, especially around the central market, which serves as the city's vibrant core. Here, traders and vendors sell everything from fresh produce to handcrafted goods, proudly displaying the skills of Burundian artisans. The market isn't just a place to shop. It's where you can feel the pulse of the city through its lively atmosphere and friendly bargaining. Bujumbura, however, is a city of contrasts. While its commerce thrives, some neighborhoods still face challenges like inconsistent access to water, electricity, and infrastructure. Despite these hurdles, the people of Bujumbura remain resilient, making the best of their resources and showing remarkable perseverance. For those intrigued by history and culture, the Living Museum of Burundi offers a captivating glimpse into the nation's rich heritage. The museum's exhibits range from ancient artifacts to traditional village reconstructions, providing an immersive way to explore the customs and history that define Burundi's identity. It's a must-visit destination for anyone looking to connect more deeply with the local culture. Burundi's lack of railroads stands out as a striking example of its limited infrastructure. It is one of the few countries in the world without a single railway line, leaving roads as the main means of transportation. However, many of these roads are in need of repair, which slows travel and creates challenges for daily life. Moving goods, commuting, and trading with neighboring countries like Tanzania and Rwanda becomes more complicated and expensive, driving up the cost of essential items. Despite these difficulties, Burundians demonstrate incredible resilience. Buses, motorbikes, and bicycles keep the country moving, showcasing the creativity and determination of its people. While the current situation is far from ideal, they find ways to adapt, ensuring their lives and economy continue to function. There are plans to construct a railway that would connect Burundi to its neighbors, potentially transforming trade and travel in the region. However, political and financial challenges have delayed these projects. For travelers, Burundi's infrastructure, or lack of it, adds a sense of adventure. Without trains and with limited modern amenities, exploring the country means venturing through remote villages and stunning, unspoiled landscapes. It's an authentic experience that offers a closer connection to the people and their way of life. Visitors often find themselves riding crowded buses or motorbikes alongside locals, gaining a unique perspective on their daily struggles. While it may not always be the most comfortable journey, it is certainly unforgettable. Before we explore the wonders of Burundi, it's important to understand the rich history that has shaped this small yet remarkable African nation. Unlike many African countries whose borders were drawn arbitrarily by European colonizers, Burundi's borders reflect a much older and deeply rooted history. The region as we know it today was formed under the Burundian monarchy centuries before European powers arrived. In Burundi's early days, three major groups, the Twa, Hutu, and Tutsi, shared the land, sometimes in harmony and sometimes in competition. These groups laid the foundation of Burundian society, each contributing to a unique blend of culture and governance. However, the arrival of European colonization in the late 19th century drastically altered the nation's trajectory. Germany was the first to claim Burundi, along with Rwanda and Tanzania as part of German East Africa. But Germany's rule was short-lived. After World War I, Germany lost its colonies and Burundi came under Belgian administration alongside the neighboring Belgian Congo. This shift in 1916 marked a turning point that would influence Burundi's future. Under Belgian rule, policies were introduced that favored certain groups for leadership roles, disrupting the social balance. These policies had long-term effects on the nation's dynamics, creating challenges that Burundi continues to navigate today. When Burundi gained independence in 1962, the country faced many of the challenges typical of newly independent nations. While there was hope for a fresh beginning, political difficulties soon arose, growing more complex by the early 1990s. Despite these struggles, Burundi's history is not only a story of hardship but also one of resilience. The Burundian people continue to strive for peace, rebuilding their nation and preserving their rich cultural heritage. Burundi, a small, landlocked country in the heart of Africa, offers an unforgettable geographical experience. Bordered by Rwanda, Tanzania, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, it lies at the crossroads of Central Africa, with Lake Tanganyika forming its stunning western border. This lake, with its clear waters and breathtaking surroundings, is one of Burundi's most striking features. The country's varied landscapes are full of surprises. At its center, the Mugan Mountains rise to over 8,500 feet, often cloaked in mist, giving the region a mystical charm. Just a short distance away, the terrain plunges toward Lake Tanganyika, where the elevation drops to about 2,600 feet. This dramatic shift creates a diverse tapestry of lush hills and deep valleys, making it feel like you're exploring several countries in a single day. Although close to the equator, Burundi's mountainous regions enjoy a pleasant climate year-round, with average temperatures around 68 degrees Fahrenheit, ideal for nature lovers who prefer moderate weather. Closer to the lake, the air takes on a warmer, tropical feel, though the heat is rarely extreme. Despite spanning just 10,400 square miles, smaller than Belgium, Burundi is home to over 11 million people, making it one of Africa's most densely populated nations. This density gives the country a vibrant energy, with life bustling everywhere, from the cities to the countryside. It's a dynamic mix of tradition and modernity, packed into a small space. For travelers seeking a destination off the beaten path, Burundi is a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. Click on the video that appears on your screen right now. I'm sure you'll love this content. Comment below about the next country you want to see featured on our channel. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Thanks for joining us. Leave a comment, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting videos. See you in the next video.